watching Screen Sport live by satellite. Well, now it's top soccer action from the Screen Sport Super Cup. Let's go over to Anfield and join Martin Tyler.
Good evening to you from Anfield. The group stages of the Screen Sports Super Cup have reached a fascinating position, and a winner here tonight between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur would go through to the semi-final. Let's have a quick check on the group table. It's Spurs' second match in the competition. They've beaten Southampton at home 2-1. So too have Liverpool, who also drew 1-1 at the Dell. The blossoming of Jan Molby has been one of the features of Liverpool's successes so far this season. And a week ago, Molby's two-goal blast saw off Manchester United in the Milk Cup. Back in September, the Dane also scored twice when Spurs were beaten 4-1 here in the First Division. But tonight, Liverpool make two changes in midfield. Steve McMahon has a hamstring strain, so Kevin McDonald takes his place. Ronnie Whelan is dropped in favour of Sammy Lee. Steve Nicol would have been in Australia tonight with Scotland, but he stayed behind to be close to his father, who's seriously ill. For Ray Clemence, each return to the club where he spent 14 fruitful years carries special significance, and his Anfield know-how will be a great ally for Tottenham, you can be sure of that. Well, Spurs are unchanged. Clive Allen taking another step on the road to recovery with his third first-team game after 10 months out of the side. Gary Mabbutt has been a great success recently at centre-half, which has been a problem position for manager Peter Shreve. Well, they are used to Liverpool's successes here, whether it be Cup or League. In 14 home matches this season, Liverpool have won 13, and they drew the other one last Saturday when they were caught right at the post by Chelsea. And tonight's referee comes from Kendal in Cumbria. It's Gary Applin, who's refereeing a match here for the first time. So away we go. Liverpool defending the Kop end in the first half. And alongside me again, a man who's never short of opinions and has the knowledge to back those opinions up, the former Manchester United and Scotland player Pat Crerand.
Thanks very much, Martin.
And Graham Roberts concedes the first corner as Tottenham was suddenly caught. And it was Jan Molby striding forward, and Roberts, who just got there to put it behind for the corner. And now the offside flag is up against Craig Johnston. Craig Johnston's had a fine season so far for Liverpool, maybe his most consistent since he came to the club. Massive clearance from Clemence, met by the Liverpool captain Alan Hansen. Molby trying to use his natural strength to force a way through in midfield, and it was a tangle there with Graham Roberts. Almost the irresistible object and the immovable force, if I can mix the metaphor. Lawrenson takes the free kick for Liverpool. Mabbutt covering, and an instant shot from Molby, but again Tottenham moving up to trap Liverpool offside. And Pat, I think we might well see two sets of square defences here with the tactics of the two teams.
I think so as well, but at the same time it's an open game, and I mean we should see some good attacking football tonight from both sides actually, because I don't think there's that much at stake as far as both of them are concerned.
Well, they're both well placed in the grouping.
I think both of them will get through all right, Martin, so I think that leads to a good game.
Paul Walsh still really playing for his future at Anfield, and of course the form of Walsh and Rush keeping Kenny Dalglish on the sidelines. He's not chosen himself in the 13 players selected tonight. Two substitutes who for Liverpool are Ronnie Whelan and John Walk. Ardiles and Thomas for Tottenham. From Mabbutt, and it was, of all people, Sammy Lee. Doesn't get many goals with his head, and it's an important night for him. He's only played 6 games in the first team this season, and with Ronnie Whelan left out of the side, maybe an opportunity for Lee to re-establish himself. He's fallen from grace a little bit from the days when he was an England international, as well as confirming a regular place in the Liverpool lineup. And it's Lee looking to get beyond Hughton, but the pass too long for him. Tottenham, of course, had such a dreadful record here in terms of their league matches. They won last season for the first time for 73 years.
The strange thing, Martin, I saw Tottenham play at Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago, and they played magnificently, so they did. Magnificent they were.
I think recent poor results up to that fixture had induced an attitude of a steely approach and some great determination from Tottenham going into that fixture, and they certainly deserved their share of the spoils at Old Trafford. It'll be interesting to see their approach here. Since then, of course, they've won at Aston Villa, which was an important victory for them last Saturday when Clive Allen made his comeback to the First Division. But here's Molby drawing applause again from the Anfield crowd, as he's done for much of the season. Johnston operating tonight on the left with Whelan out of the side. And it's McDonald from a lovely ball from Johnston. The chance is with Sammy Lee, it's with Molby. Clemence blocks well. He might not have got a clear view of it. Johnston sensibly waiting to pick the pass for McDonald, who couldn't quite be as accurate with the cross.
Martin, we always talk sometimes about players being both-footed or having the use of both feet. If Sammy Lee had a left foot there, he'd have certainly have scored. We'll see it here again, Martin. I mean, you're seeing it when the ball comes into Sammy Lee. He's taking it back from his right side, but it's on his left foot, and he's not very good in that, so he's had to lay it off, and whereas Tottenham get back and block the ball.
Beglin. And it was Walsh who was looking to burst through. Tottenham pen back at the moment. Mabbutt made the clearance.
You were saying, Martin, about Tottenham. They are playing very square, and I think they're sure to get caught.
Gary Mabbutt has taken over from Paul Miller and has done a sterling job so far. But it's Waddle having to help out defensively to stop Lee sneaking into a scoring position again. So Tottenham will be looking for Chris Waddle to operate further forward and impose his skills on the match. And Bruce Grobbelaar has been the successor to Ray Clemence that Liverpool wanted. Amazingly enough, that since Clemence departed in 1981, Grobbelaar has not missed a first-team game. And it's number 279 in the row for Bruce Grobbelaar, and Clemence, of course, had that consistency before. So Liverpool have been well served, despite one or two eccentric moments, of course, in recent years from Bruce Grobbelaar. Hansen.
I'm wondering, Martin, why Kenny Dalglish didn't even name himself in the 13. If he hopes to play again this season, this is the perfect night for him to have a little bit of match practice.
Well, he's very much a reluctant player at the moment. McDonald was cut out by Mabbutt, and Hoddle, with the great range in his passing, trying to find Falco. Picked off, though, by Hansen. Johnston. Hoddle's interception. Falco ahead of him. And so too is Paul Allen. It's Tottenham's free kick. Gary Stevens leaving it for Hoddle. And Stevens has made a dart forward ahead of Hoddle. It's out by Lee. Here's Hughton. Waddle to his left. But Hughton has got speed and ambition too. But the determination came from Lawrenson. Mulby. Lee goes ahead of him. And Mulby looking for Walsh just offside. But it's that square line of Tottenham again that Walsh was trying to puncture. Mulby perhaps just delayed the pass. That's what Walsh would think, Pat.
I think maybe Walsh was a little bit quick as well. He's such a quick little player, Paul Walsh. But I think as the playing so square, Spurs, and with the sharpness of Rush and Walsh, I think there's a chance they could get caught, Martin.
Well, Gary Mabbutt and company will be out to stop that. Hughton. Nice dummy by Falco, and Waddle. It was a lovely build-up by Tottenham, the best we've seen from them so far. It needed a quick intervention by Grobbelaar. It was a rat-a-tat-tat of passes then, which might have sounded a little bit of a warning to Liverpool's back four. And also encouragement for all of us who are hoping for a free-flowing, open contest. And all the talent on the field, surely that's not too much to ask for. Walsh. Falco, a useful flick, but Clive Allen beaten to it by Hansen. Here's Waddle. Falco. The Allen cousins making tracks towards the middle. Tottenham working it short and Perryman giving it away. And Lee has certainly had a busy start in the opening 10 minutes, but it's the offside flag that halts Liverpool's progress again in the shape of Kevin McDonald.
He might have given him a first-time pass there, Martin, but then again, it's easy when we're watching from up here, isn't it?
Here's Hughton. Walsh unable to cut off the back pass, and Tottenham look to build from deep again through Roberts. Rush sprinting across to try and close him down. Tottenham felt they played quite well here in the First Division game in September, although the 4-1 defeat doesn't suggest that. Ray Clemence was beaten twice by penalties that night, both powerfully hit by Jan Mulby. Clive Allen with no one beyond him. And Grobbelaar with that mischievous smile. Sometimes sends alarms through his teammates. Waddle turned into trouble in the shape of McDonald. McDonald again. One or two Liverpool players in this side have something extra special to play for. They've been out of contention recently. Nicol in the clear, and Mulby, who'd played the pass, almost got a foot to it when it seemed too far ahead of him, and it's thundered in but wide by Beglin.
I think that was a lovely move, Martin, by Liverpool. I think Mulby's little lack of pace there that let him down. I mean, it was a tremendous return ball as well.
And Sammy Lee playing his part in an effervescent start from Liverpool, reflected here again by Johnston. And now Beglin, who stayed onside, and Hoddle lining up alongside his central defenders, Mulby. And there's room to the left for Tottenham, but the ball by Clive Allen wasn't a good one for Waddle. And Mulby for Beglin, and the first touch let him down slightly, and the shot comfortable for Clemence. If he'd been able to take it on the run, he would have been clear. Waddle being told by Roberts to play it back. And Roberts turns and is making a point to those ahead of him. Not Waddle in particular, but Tottenham have just been a little tentative in this opening phase. And you cannot be anything less than 100% here at Anfield. And Hughton with the latest mistake for Lee. Rushes onside. Well, he certainly looked onside to me. The linesman had a good look across and then waved the flag. But Ian Rush is so quick, Pat, that sometimes...
So I thought he was certainly onside. It was a great little ball from Sammy Lee, and I'm sure the right back played him on there, Gary Stevens.
And Lee battles on.
Martin, I think the sad thing sometimes about linesmen, they're watching a straight line across the pitch and they don't watch the ball being passed, and sometimes guys that are a little bit sharp can get caught offside when really they're not.
What you're saying, Pat, is that they're judging it on arrival.
Yes, rather than on the delivery.
Yeah. Hughton. It's Falco. One of those powerful runs of his, and he's been watched by a thoroughbred there, Mark Lawrenson, who's had to turn his mind back to matters of playing after representing Liverpool at some important Players' Union discussions yesterday. The shop steward in the Liverpool dressing room.
I was glad yesterday as well, Martin, that the players all stood by one another rather than let football directors push them into a corner.
Hoddle. And Tottenham having to get embroiled in the scrap in midfield to try and get a share of the ball. For the previous 5 minutes or so, Liverpool have been masters in that department, and it's led to a wave of attacks that Tottenham have had difficulty in repelling. And now a good run by Lee. Hughton cleverly came across. And one of Chris Hughton's great assets is his natural pace, and in the covering position then it was very useful for him. Rush onside, found by Mulby, clean in at Clemence, and he's hooked it wide, most uncharacteristically. By Ian Rush's standards, it was straightforward.
I think the great thing about this again, when we see this, we've missed it out in the film actually, but it was a great pass by Jan Mulby. Jan Mulby couldn't get in the Liverpool team last year actually, Martin, but Kenny's brought him back, and one of the great things about Kenny's not a fast player, but enjoys people that are good passers of the ball, people that can pass with a little bit of sense, and Mulby has certainly got that.
Well, here's Rush again, found by Walsh on that occasion. Mulby, and he wasn't frightened to go in with Perryman and a 50-50. Carrying a little bit more weight in the tackle than the Tottenham captain too. Waddle having a run at Steve Nicol. It's an interesting confrontation that might happen one day at international level, England against Scotland. And Waddle wants a penalty, feels he might have got one, and I wonder too whether he should have got one.
I thought it was, Martin.
The referee was very well placed.
I think the thing about this, I love the little ball through Nicholls' legs, and I think Nicholls certainly put him down. I would think that was a penalty, Martin.
It was the angle of the challenge, really, that I think the referee had to examine coming in from behind.
I think Howard Kendall said something in the press during the week which was true. Referees are liable to give a penalty away from home or for teams playing at home rather than giving it to teams that are playing away from home.
Of course, that does naturally happen from the home team getting more of the ball, but I've certainly commentated a lot of times from this particular position and seen a lot of penalties awarded for Liverpool. Not too many awarded here against them.
I think it just doesn't count for Liverpool. I think for most teams in the first, oh well, for any of the divisions actually, the refs are a little bit. I mean, Martin, if you've got 40 or 50,000, you wouldn't like them to call you, would you?
They do that anyway, Pat. Lee, and it was Stevens who once or twice has been the player who's wanted to drop off and maybe get Tottenham into trouble by covering when they want him out and playing offside. We shall see. It's certainly a facet of the game which has been important in the pattern of play that we've seen so far. Ray Clemence, of course, used to keeping goal behind that type of tactic when he was here as a Liverpool player. Clive Allen, Beglin away. Roberts. And one or two encouraging moves so far from Waddle, but this time he opted for the pass rather than the run. Hughton. It's Liverpool's throw. Lawrenson. Mulvey getting forward ahead of the ball. That was a lovely instinctive touch by Hoddle that found Paul Allen. Stevens, and now it's Liverpool's turn to push up the back four to deny Tottenham room in which to manoeuvre. You could see really it happening there. Kenny Dalglish had a good view of it and now urges his players to get forward. Beglin. It was an awkward ball for Mabbutt to deal with, just bouncing up as he struck it. Johnston. McDonald, it needs a touch, and he's provided it. And great smiles, because he's not a natural goal scorer at all. It's a little bit of a dressing room joke. Kevin McDonald's inability to score, but that's his second in the colours of Liverpool.
I think the great thing about McDonald, he's made a great run, and I love the little chip from Craig Johnson. I think he's just hit it and hope for the best, and I think it would, no, just through the side of Clemence. I thought it'd go through Clemence's legs at first. I think he was a little bit fortunate there as well, but still the run was good.
And certainly the goal well deserved from the way Liverpool have started this match. They're a goal up after 19 minutes. Kevin McDonald the scorer. Waddle, and here's Hughton. Goal kick. Well, Kevin McDonald had a good run in the side through the middle part of last season after joining Liverpool from Leicester City, but his form fell away and he's been struggling to get any appearances this season, and that will really boost his confidence no end. So the unlikely events here of Ian Rush missing a clear-cut chance and Kevin McDonald taking one, and Liverpool buoyant in the opening 20 minutes of this Screen Sports Super Cup match in Group 2. Very good value for their one-goal lead. And for Tottenham, it's a familiar position, being asked to come from behind at Anfield. Although, I remind you again that they did do the double over Liverpool in the First Division last season and put them out at the Milk Cup at White Hart Lane. Perryman. Stevens. Crunching tackle from Johnston and the ball ricocheting Liverpool's way. And it's Craig Johnston who's offside. There have been rumours in the newspapers that Craig Johnston might be throwing in his World Cup lot with Scotland should they qualify, but he was quick to deny that to me before the game. Hoddle! Well, very few players could have taken that as quickly and with as much accuracy as Glenn Hoddle mustered. It almost came behind him. There was no chance to get a backswing at it. It was tremendous technique to get any sort of shot into the ball at all. It
was a nice little move by Spurs, actually, Martin. It should give them a little bit of confidence. He's a beautiful striker of the ball, Glenn Hoddle. And when he gets outside the goal area anywhere, there's always a possibility that he'll ping it into the net.
Rush. Mulby now. Clemence in the firing line again. And this time the Dane, who's had such a good scoring record in recent matches, can't add to his tally. He's already in double figures this season. And bearing down on Ray Clemence, the chance was there. Was into the side netting for a corner already taken. Beglin. Nicol. And Walsh again went a little too early. The feature of Liverpool's play, as it has been for so many years, going back to the days when Pat Crerand had to do battle against them here. Their support play, Pat, is tremendous, isn't it?
It is, yeah. They support each other tremendously well, and they're so quick at you when you get the ball as well. They close the pitch. They make the pitch very small for you, they do, Martin. They close up on you. But I think the one thing about Spurs here, Spurs are not sure about how they're playing offside. One or two of them occasionally get caught.
McDonald.
I think that's what happened, actually, when Mulby got through there. They came out to play offside, and Mabbutt played them all on.
Oh, now it's Liverpool who are caught a little bit in a line at the back by Waddle's run. Oh, he's hit the post. Clive Allen. And that looked to me as though it was deflected off Beglin, but the referee's given a goal kick.
There's no danger that that was certainly a corner kick. That was a tremendous bit of play by Waddle there, actually. Great run. He's only up on his own. He's got nobody else. Sees the gap on the other side, and he's very unfortunate.
And then neither Allen could finish the job.
Definitely come off Beglin, that one, Martin.
Walsh. Mulby under hit. And Hoddle colliding with the chunky form of Sammy Lee. And he gets his free kick. "20 minutes of the first half remaining. Given away by McDonald to Hoddle, and now Falco. I think a player with more faith in his own speed might have gone on, but he didn't fancy it, Mark Falco, and wanted to take the shot, and Grobbelaar really was in a good position to deny him.
I think you're most certainly right there, Martin. I think his little bit of lack of pace let him down there, but to be fair to the player, a player knows his own ability to run and knows if he can get there or not. The sad thing sometimes about the game is the players that you want to get into the important positions don't get there.
Yes, Falco's certainly got an eye for a position around goal. And he'll be hoping Waddle can cut this back, but Lawrenson bars the way. Falco going in to tackle, and that must be offside. And Waddle saying, he couldn't really leave it to me.
I don't think that they're going out anyway, Martin, if even although they come back on the pitch.
Tottenham have quite a useful little run going coming into this match. 5 games unbeaten, although 4 of those matches have been drawn. But that, after a couple of poor home performances, was important for Peter Shreve, the manager, to regain some consistency. Liverpool never seem to lose their consistency. Paul Allen. But Beglin matched him yard for yard, and that's good defending, often goes unappreciated. If the cross comes in, though, the teammates are always hollering, and Tim Beglin did his job. Liverpool got their goal kick. McDonald. Mulby's seen a lot of the ball. Lee. Nicol getting a second bite at it rather fortunately. Only Clive Allen forward for Tottenham. Johnston, and Roberts was yelling for the offside, and he rightly got it. Ian Rush still has this remarkable record going that every game he's scored in for Liverpool, it's 104 matches he's scored a goal in, sometimes more than one, of course, and Liverpool have lost none of those. It really is extraordinary. And we've said it before, but it's almost the rubber stamp for victory. Once Rush scores, certainly defeat seems to be out of the question. Here's Nicol. Tottenham working hard to deny Liverpool any room in which to make progress. And Falco and Clive Allen making sure that the ball's knocked back. Mabbutt. And Perryman gives it away to Johnston. Beglin. Tottenham all behind the ball again. And there's not much room for Hansen to pick a pass into, and he'll wait until he has to give it away. And it has to go back. Tottenham defending as a unit. Lawrenson. Walsh turning away from Mabbutt. It needs individual skill, really, to break down this type of opposition that Liverpool are facing at this particular time. Condensed defending. But defending isn't enough for Tottenham in these circumstances. A goal down. Hughton. And Falco dispossessed. Now Lawrence. Nicol. All starting to make himself available. Lee. And it was Mulby again with the right response to the situation. But McDonald was actually running into an area covered by 2 defenders. Lee. Tottenham at the moment making Liverpool go square, but there's a pass of more penetration from Johnston for Rush. McDonald at the near post, and it's scooped behind by Perryman. Rush getting free down Liverpool's left, as Beglin does for a second here. Lawrenson. before waiting for a cross that Lawrenson couldn't provide, and away by Mabbutt. I think, Pat, it's quite important for Tottenham to get Chris Waddle into the match as often as possible. He's looked quite a potent force, and he's got some appetite for the match. He's going hunting the ball at times as well, which he doesn't always do. Yeah, yes, he's got down the left flank there a few times with the ball, and he's had that shot at goal that hit the post, so I think that he thinks possibly if he gets a bit of the ball he might be able to do something. But then again, it's easy to say that, but when you're on the pitch playing against Liverpool, the mark is so tight and close down your area. Oh, Mulvey got away with taking the free kick from behind the referee's back, and a little too far advanced for Tottenham's liking. Beglin. Rush has joined Walsh in the middle. Johnston didn't hit it quite as he wanted. McDonald with the challenge, though, that forced Roberts to knock it behind for the corner. We're talking about getting Waddle into the game there, Martin, but Tottenham haven't got the ball, so that's the big difficult part of the moment. Liverpool are doing most of the attacking. That is the bottom line. Mulvey waiting at the near post, McDonald behind him. Hansen coming in at the back. Settles for the throw. Hansen. Lee was onside, although it must have been close. Oh. And Walsh! No chance for Clemence, who's furious, I think, because they didn't push out in front of him. And Walsh was given a free header and made no mistake. In the 34th minute. So Paul Walsh continues the run of goal-scoring form, but seems to make a much brighter future for him at Anfield than at one time seemed possible. It's a lovely little ball in this from Paul Walsh, but you'll be amazed to find that it's Waddle that's in there along with Roberts. And obviously, forwards are terrible defenders. I think he left it to Roberts, and Roberts probably left it to him, which the smallest man got a free header. So Liverpool in command, 2 goals to the good. To be fair to Liverpool, Martin, they've played exceptionally well. The passing has been very, very good. And I'm telling you, the way they're playing at the moment, you know, they could do anything. And memories of that 4-1 defeat in September might be just going through one or two Tottenham minds. Has to prevent what would have been a corner, and he's put his side in trouble with a typical piece of extrovert behaviour, and they rally round the goalkeeper. You wonder what comes into his mind at times, don't you? I honestly think, Pat, that he gets bored sometimes. I would think so, I would think so. He wants to get the crowd alive as well, I think. I mean, it's incredible sometimes the things he does. I mean, not any other goalkeeper would have just kicked it into the crowd. Well, he's certainly got them talking on the cop. Not perhaps quite for the reasons that they would want. The great thing about him, he's one of the great characters, and he's like that off the pitch as well. He's a tremendous character. You know, there's not enough of him in the game, Martin, to be fair. He's a wonderful man, a person who's well aware of his responsibilities outside football, always the first to come forward in a charitable cause. And once or twice those charitable causes have included the opposition. Clive Allen, just too long for Perryman, and I don't think it was McDonald who was offside, but maybe Walsh coming back. Molby, the flag stays down. Tottenham exposed again. And Molby with lovely skill. It's Rush who might have the chance. He was trying to juggle it into a shooting position when Mabbutt finally arrived.
A great little bit of play by Molby again there, Martin. Lovely little bit of play.
Liverpool have to settle for another corner. It could easily have been 3-0. And Molby involved again. And that's tailor-made for Clemence.
I mean, the great thing about Molby, he's not quick, but he's got a great sense of where the ball's going to go. He gets in there, lovely little cross. Unfortunate rush, but I think the thing about Molby gets in there, he doesn't panic in the least bit. Draws it back to his left foot, the nice little cross in.
He's a very taciturn character off the field as well. And does now speak his English with a touch of the Scouse in it. Free kick for Tottenham, who badly need to pull a goal back to get back into this match. And Hansen towering above Falco. Lee trying to give Waddle a taste of his own medicine, but Waddle shows he can tackle. Hoddle. Falco. Clive Allen looking for cousin Paul. Johnston. We've been talking about how Molby has responded to Kenny Dalglish, but Craig Johnston has as well. Rush is offside. But he applauds Johnston's contribution, as did the crowd, who've always taken to Johnston's effervescent style, but I think it's fair to say his teammates for a while found him infuriating. Lawrenson, Walsh, it's one for Lee to chase, but the other number 5, Gary Mabbutt, is there as well. And there's a lot of debate going on in the Tottenham ranks between Roberts and Hoddle and Perryman as to exactly what is going wrong at the back. That was unlucky for Clive Allen. To Beglin. And the harassing of Molby paid dividends, and on he goes for Lee. Tottenham are all drawn towards a central position, and Johnston came in on their blind side. Well, the shots are raining in on the goal guarded by Ray Clemence.
I think, Martin, sometimes in the coaching parlance that they talk about Tottenham and their shape and all this sort of rubbish, but at the present moment in time, Tottenham just don't know where they are. They're moving well off the ball, Liverpool. Their passing's exceptionally good, and they can't cope at the moment.
And it's a display from Liverpool that everyone in the ground, except those who've come here to support Tottenham, will be relishing. 5 minutes of the first half remaining. Ray Clemence very much on the receiving end. He's been beaten twice. Walsh and Rush. And that was dealt with some composure from Rush's effort by Chris Hughton. They do tell players, if you're in a tight angle like that, to aim for the far post. It might be a shot, it might be a cross. On that occasion, it didn't work on either count for Ian Rush. Molby again, almost arrogantly done with the outside of the foot. Johnston waiting for the arrival of Beglin. And Clemence there before Rush. But the goalkeeper used it quickly to try and get his side forward, with Liverpool having their numbers committed forward. But against Liverpool, progress is impossible when they're in this sort of mood.
I think the one thing about Liverpool, Martin, is they're at you all the time and they hurry you into making a mistake. they don't give you any time to settle in the ball, and they make you play balls quickly, whereas you're looking for that little bit of time to be more accurate.
Mulby. Lee. The extra man this time is Lawrenson. Tottenham wonder where the next threat is coming from. It's not from Rush on this occasion. The pass over hit. And it's a frustrated Ray Clemence at the moment. Lee. Rush, every touch is coming from Liverpool. Tottenham very much second to the ball until Clemence in that sweeper's role that he really made his own here at Liverpool, out of the area. And a tangle between Falco and Beglin. Just a couple of minutes remaining in the first half. And I think Falco just pleased to get a touch of the ball. Liverpool in control. Rush. It was Roberts who almost played Mabbutt into trouble. Clemence yelling at his defenders again. And Tottenham feeling that they should have had the free kick straight away. Lawrenson believed, I'm sure, that Clive Allen was backing into him. Awkward ones for referees to judge. But finally,
I think that was 6 1/2 Martin. We're both pushing each other. I think, to be fair, that Hansen was the one that was done more damage to than anybody, because he was certainly backing into him, Clive Allen.
With a minute to go to half-time, important opportunity this for Tottenham. It would mean so much if they could halve the deficit here. Will it be a Hoddle special? Well, it was his shot, but
it wasn't far away, was it?
Grobbelaar, rather like a batsman padding up, let it go wide, and he got his bearings right. It has been a delightful first half performance from Liverpool. They thoroughly deserved their 2-goal lead, given to them by Kevin McDonald first of all after 19 minutes, and then Paul Walsh 11 minutes before half-time. Tottenham will reflect that Chris Waddle hit a post in between those 2 goals, but really they've been overrun, and at times their defending has looked rather amateurish in front of Ray Clemence. Half-time then at Anfield in the Screen Sports Super Cup. It's Liverpool 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Introducing the new Brawn System 123.
Closer overall.
Position 1, the platinum-plated foil with its unique smooth-as-a-pearl finish.
Closer.
Position 2, the trimmer cuts longer hairs, then the foil polishes them off.
Closer.
Position 3, the trimmer extends for precise trimming. New Brawn System 123. Closer than your current shaver.
Closer. Or your money back.
They remember Ray Clemence on the Kop, and rightly so, as we welcome you back to Anfield, with Liverpool leading Tottenham by 2-0, and Tottenham's response has been to bring on both substitutes. Danny Thomas wearing number 14, and Aussie Ardiles hardly needs a number to be recognised, but the number is 12. And we must now work out exactly what Tottenham have done to regroup themselves tactically. Steve Perryman is one of the players off, and Paul Allen is the other. Thomas has gone to right back, so that suggests Gary Stevens will play in midfield. All will be revealed. Tottenham certainly have to take drastic measures against the Liverpool side, who've been in exceptional form so far, and Walsh could easily have put the game beyond Tottenham's reach straight away in the opening seconds of the second half. The soft centre exposed again, Pat.
Yes, certainly. I think Mabbutt and Roberts, to be fair to Spurs, I think that's the biggest thing they've been lacking. I think in games gone by, we've spoke about possibly Steve Bruce of Norwich is going to Tottenham. I don't think Ken Brown would be too happy about us saying that, actually, but it would make a great deal of difference to Spurs. I think they've lacked a centre-half for quite a few years, actually. Centre-halves a little bit in short supply. Of course, one, Paul Elliott, has gone for £400,000 from Luton to Aston Villa. That shows the market value for good young central defenders. And I think Steve Bruce would cost even more than that. Norwich City, as we've seen in the Screen Sports Super Cup, very much looking like favourites to come out of the second division with the quality displayed in Ken Brown's side this season. And he'll want to hang on to Steve Bruce, as you say. So what difference can Aussie Ardiles make? So hurt in recent seasons by injury. And on he goes, and thread it past Grobbelaar. I think he certainly should have scored there. That's the sad thing about players coming on straight away. He does a great little knock through. He's a bad pass, but he gets on it, but he's no left foot whatsoever, and it's a very, very poor shot. But that's the thing about players coming on and starting the second half, or subs coming on, Martin. They're cold and they're not in touch with the game, probably.
Well, no shortage of goalmouth action. And it's Thomas. Certainly Aussie Ardiles, for all his skill, has lost half a yard of pace through the recent damage. Johnston, Lee, and McDonald knew was already on the way back. So it's an appealing prospect in the second half. Tottenham have to go for the game, take a chance or two, and maybe that will leave more gaps for Liverpool to try and exploit. There is an old saying in football that a 2-goal lead can be a dangerous one. The team that has it sometimes just slackens enough, and it's not a big enough lead to be sure of victory. Roberts. And again. Rush. Well, Gary Stevens is seen at White Hart Lane as a midfield player, and that's where he's obviously going to perform in the second half. Lee. Walsh, and might just have been caught in two minds whether Johnston was coming in behind him. But I think Walsh was entitled to go for it, although the cross was just too high for him and when the ball finally arrived. Nickel. Rush hoping that Walsh was darting further forward for Liverpool. For once, he was flat-footed. And Allen, Clive Allen that is, not really going for the ball. Not sure whether it's a case of not having shaved today or whether there's a genuine beard on the way for the Tottenham number 9. Thomas.
I'm just thinking there must be a shortage of blades around White Hart Lane, because I see Ardiles is sporting a beard as well.
Well, it goes in fashions, and footballers do see themselves as setters of trends rather than followers of them. Chris Hughton certainly clean-shaven. McDonald, here's Johnston. Walsh, and well read by Roberts. He was almost there before Walsh thought of playing the pass. Mulby, and Rush trying to accelerate again. Again, it was desperately close. It's an occupational hazard for Ian Rush.
I'm not so sure if that was offside again there, Martin. I thought he was onside, actually, Ian Rush.
Hoddle. And Stevens was running away from the ball and not looking for it really from Roberts. Nickel. We've talked about moves that Kenny Dalglish has made and encouraged the likes of Mulby and Johnston, but of course he's also brought on the 2 young fullbacks for Liverpool as well, one of whom, Beglin, goes in now to try and challenge Waddle and takes the ball from him at the cost of a throw. But Alan Kennedy has moved on. Phil Neal still, of course, a Liverpool player, but out of the picture at the moment. It must be a privilege to play full-back for Liverpool when you've got the likes of Lawrenson and Hansen alongside you to defend as well.
I would certainly say that, Martin, but I'm very impressed by the 2 Liverpool full-backs at the moment, Nickel and Beglin. I think they're 2 excellent players.
Here is Nickel, judging the bounce. Jim Beglin from the Republic of Ireland. Mulby, and he was onside, although again didn't fancy his speed after the ball took off, pitching on a dampening top.
I think it must have, Martin, there, because it seemed to pick up an awful lot of pace, the ball, didn't it?
Maybe it was just that Mulby was going even slower, Pat.
I can't talk about that.
But I just wonder whether there was a suspicion of a limp there. They do say that at Anfield, players don't like to show their injuries. You don't want to be out of the side at all. Falco letting fly from optimistic range, shall we say. Well, it may be an occasion for Liverpool to reintroduce John Walk, who's only had 3 games this season.
I must say, Martin, I was at Old Trafford on Saturday, and with the Liverpool game kicking off at 12 o'clock against Chelsea, he came through to the match because he's very friendly with Alan Brazil. And I was asking him how he really felt about not being in the team, and oh, fair play to him, he said, well, Pat, he says, the team are doing so well, so I can't complain.
Particularly the man he's replaced, Jan Mulby, but possibly there was a slight strain as he chased that ball on. Maybe Kenny Dalglish saw something, and he's shown a decisive touch, the Liverpool player-manager, which has impressed his players in that difficult role of moving from the dressing room, although he still plays his part in there, of course, as a player manager. Into the manager's office, though, at times as well.
I think the one fortunate thing about Kenny, players will respect Kenny because he's such a great player. I was going to say was a great player, but let's hope it still is a great player.
I'm sure he'll get that 100th cap for Scotland during the course of this season. And as we speak, we're still waiting, of course, for Scotland's fate to be decided. Only a few hours away now. Beglin. Thomas. Ardiles. Liverpool with too much pace in their defending for Falco, with Lawrence and Nicol there before him. As yet, Liverpool not quite into that sweet groove that they found and exploited during the first 45 minutes. Lee to take the free kick, leaving it for Lawrence. And it's Ardiles who deflects the ball behind for another Liverpool corner. Liverpool don't swing the ball into the near post as often as maybe other First Division sides. They look for other varieties, drawing players out of the middle and then switching the ball back in quickly, but it's got to be perhaps taken again, as the referee wants to speak to McDonald and to Waddle. Something he spotted before the corner was taken.
It's a fight for position there, actually, between Waddle and McDonald. McDonald probably wants to get in front for the little touch on, and Waddle won't let him.
It's away by Hughton. Nicol was almost leaning in using an arm. Tottenham are streaming out. That's what Lawrenson will see as he looks up. It would be easy, Pat, for Liverpool to settle for what they have here, but with competition for places so great at Anfield, I'm sure that there'll be no relaxation.
I would say that for sure, Martin. I think there'll be more goals in the game because they've got to come and play some of the Liverpool players, because that's the thing here. There's so many reserves, or not reserves, but players sitting in the stand, and that's the great thing if you're fortunate enough to be a manager, to have so many players that all fighting for places.
Falco. Hoddle. Such are his skills that when the ball drops like that, which would be beyond most players to fashion a shot, you almost expect Glenn Hoddle to hit the target. On that occasion it looped wide. But a new ingredient in the midfield mix with John Walk, who has got that eye for a goal. Liverpool's top scorer, in fact, last season, but first of all, injury kept him out at the start, and then when he did get back for a spell of 3 matches, he really wasn't as sharp as he or Kenny Dalglish would have liked, and he's had to serve time in the reserves. Walsh for Rush. Now Johnston. Forced away by Stevens, but help was there from Beglin, but it deflected out off Jim Beglin. It was a painful blow for Johnston from a rather muscular challenge from Falco. And I'll say this for Mark Falco, at the sharp end of a Tottenham attack, has had no sort of service really. He's not the type who hides, and he'll go looking for the ball. Ardiles, Hughton. Lee fouled. Half an hour remaining, and Liverpool still 2 in front from the goals in the 19th minute from McDonald and the 34th minute from Walsh. Still 2 matches remaining in this group in the Screen Sports Super Cup. The return of this particular fixture at White Hart Lane, and Tottenham still have to go to Southampton. Hoddle, Clive Allen, and it was Falco he was looking for on the far side, and the linesman was looking for him. Mabbutt being forced into a tight corner. The ball curved out and curved back into play, spotted by a vigilant linesman.
I think he brought that on himself there, Martin, because he could have quite easily passed that back to the goalkeeper.
It's a corner.
Sometimes, Martin, the simple thing is the hardest thing for players to do. I'm saying he should have played that back to the goalkeeper, Mabbutt, and it would be strange if a goal came from it.
Well, it's Sammy Lee lurking with intent. McDonald has sprung the trap. Rush missed it, and Walk can't force it in because Graham Roberts was there covering.
When you think, Martin, again, as I was saying, that was all from a ball that Mabbutt had just played nicely back to the goalkeeper. He was unfortunate here, actually. Nice little ball from Sammy Lee, and I thought it was a little bit offside. He gets it across, gets a deflection back, and John completely miskicks it.
Really in the position from which Walker's made his name.
Exactly.
And of course, European nights, and we refer to those because this Screen Sports Super Cup, of course, the competition designed to replace European games with the UEFA ban. European nights very much John Walk's forte, a tremendous scoring record. Lee, Johnston, lovely touch for Walsh. Johnston can't keep it in. In fact, if Walsh had looked to his left, it might have been more profitable for Liverpool. Again, easy to say that, and maybe Walsh would argue that he would have had to have eyes in the back of his head.
Yeah,
Rush too much of Johnston.
Rush was certainly lurking there. If he'd got a nice little touch in, Rush would have been clean away. But as you say, Martin, it's easy here. Easy from up here.
But certainly for much of this match, Liverpool have made it look easy out there. And Danny Thomas,
I think he's
eye off the ball.
I think he's kicked that one away there. He gets a bit of stick from the crowd, and sometimes referees would take their name, but I think that was frustration in his own part because he let the ball go out.
Well, we've talked about players on the Liverpool side wanting to get back into first-team action. It's the same for Danny Thomas for Tottenham. Remember, he has played for England on Bobby Robson's tour of Australia a couple of years ago. Nicol, very much Scotland's right back, when available. Clemence has had a tremendous season. He's been one consistent thread through a rather patchwork performance by Tottenham over the first half of the season. When they're good, they're very, very good, but when they're bad, they are sometimes awful. Hoddle and Waddle doing the plotting. Ardiles. And Tottenham have a throw. If there's any complacency creeping into Liverpool, it might just be an opportunity for Tottenham here to alter the whole tone of the evening. One goal would certainly do that. Stevens. Hoddle. Well, it hit Falco and almost bounced out for Clive Allen. Then the referee got in the way. And finally, order to the proceedings with Sammy Lee. Rush. It was Hughton who stuck out a foot and steered it back to Clemence. Thomas dispossessing Johnston. Danny Thomas again. Falco covered a lot of ground to get there before Hansen, but Tottenham short of numbers further forward beyond Falco. McDonald. Rush gets the better of Roberts cleverly. Nicol. Liverpool just putting one or two passes together again. And that's a fine one from Lee, helped by the run from Walsh. It was Mabbutt who slipped, and it came behind Rush, who tried to drag it towards goal.
That was a very good move again by Liverpool, Martin. I think Ian Rush slipped as he went to make contact with the ball there, and I think that was why he lost the chance.
Beglin. He had the last touch. Tottenham came here tonight needing a victory to earn their place in the semi-final. Well, unless we get a dramatic change, they're not going to get that, and Liverpool will be assured of making progress in the Screen Sports Super Cup. It does leave the remaining matches quite cleverly balanced, with Southampton still not completely out of it, although they've only got 1 point from 3 games. They still have to play Tottenham at home. And at the halfway point in the second half, John Walk is the latest Liverpool player to be ensnared in the Tottenham offside trap. Roberts. Ardiles. And Grovelar, as though it was a training game. Surprised he didn't try and head it clear. Maybe he will if it stays 2-0 as the minutes tick away. Walsh. And Roberts has almost put Walk in. And that tussle between the two number 14s. Thomas just did enough, and it was his own teammate Graham Roberts that caused the embarrassment.
That's the great thing about John Ward, Martin. He gets in unexpected situations. He's always making great runs on the blind side of defences and getting in behind them. I think he was literally fouled there, actually, by Danny Thomas more than anything.
A corner to be taken for Liverpool by Lee, met by McDonald. And Walsh credited with the final touch, trying to deflect it into the other corner, but he deflected it wide. The splendid run by Liverpool, not just, of course, important in this competition, but how it's opened up the First Division by putting pressure on Manchester United, who have shown one or two signs of wobbling. And Chelsea and West Ham United mounting a challenge from London, which is long overdue.
I don't think anybody up in this part of the world thinks that the challenge is going to come from West Ham or Chelsea, Martin. I think most people up here think it's a two-horse race in the Championship, actually. Liverpool and United. At the moment, United have lost their way.
Lee, quick piece of thinking with a free kick, and a little too quick for McDonald, who was offside again. But while on the subject of championships, Tottenham haven't won the league title since their double year, 1961, and there were great hopes at the start of the season, but they still showing tonight one or two vulnerable areas which have caused them worries in their league form as well. But having said that, to judge anybody against the way Liverpool played in the first 45 minutes, of course they're going to look second best in comparison. Ardiles trying to light a spark for Tottenham in the second half with Hoddle. Now Thomas. Liverpool have funneled back, leaving just Rush and Walsh upfield. Hoddle. It's a congested area again, but he found a way out of it. Ardiles, that'll be a free kick, a foul by Walk on the little Argentine. Aussie Ardiles, who studied law and uses a lawyer's brain to try and work out a case perhaps for the prosecution here. Well, he leaves it for Hoddle and then tries to link up with Clive Allen. Ardiles. Liverpool really have had few difficulties at the back. Roberts. Nice dummy thrown to McDonald. And if anyone can alter the tempo, change the rhythm of the match into Tottenham's favour, Graham Roberts can be a one-man band in that respect. A great competitor. Lee. Nickel, stopped by Waddle. And he was able to recover from the error and tidy it up himself. Johnston got there undetected. McDonald hasn't really got the speed to get beyond Hughton, but Walsh has, past Roberts, and Clemence has lost it, and it'll be a goal, surely. No! It was Gary Mabbutt who hooked it away.
I'm not too sure how he got that off the line at all.
But it was right on the line.
Tremendous bit of play. He does very well, Walsh, with his chip back. There's such a scramble in there by everybody.
Walsh, out by Thomas. McDonald, way off target.
But how Gary Mabbutt scrambled that off the line there, we'll never know.
Roberts. Hoddle. Clive Allen stays down. But Liverpool so close to getting a third goal. It was Mabbutt there.
He's actually lying on the ground, Martin, and gets his left foot to it. Amazing.
Lee. Liverpool's throw, and quick thinking by Walsh to make himself available from it. McDonald, all to his left for Liverpool. Nicol, Johnston, and Rush. It's not been quite Ian Rush's night. Craig Johnston, it was a bright idea, but the pass again gathering pace on the bounce, and it was too far ahead even for Rush to collect. 15 minutes left.
You know, watching the game tonight, Martin, and I've saw Liverpool play so often, and I think he's a tremendous player, Alan Hansen. So cool under pressure. He builds up moves for Liverpool, and yet he can't get in the Scottish team. It amazes me. Tremendous player. You know, one of these players, Martin, you know, Alan Hansen, when there's tremendous pressure on you, he's so cool on the ball, his control is tremendous, and his passing ability is very, very good as well.
He also plays a mean hand of cards, Pat.
I think he's very good at most sports, actually. He's a good golfer as well, isn't he?
Yes, yes indeed. But at the in the Liverpool card school, you'll find Alan Hansen, when the bus arrives at away matches, hanging on to the very last minute to finish the last hand that the manager will allow him.
It's amazing how popular cards are with football players.
Lawrenson. Rush. Walks offside, just to continue the theme of the characters of the Liverpool players. Really, they are a very bright bunch in terms of Mickey taking. You've always got to be on the lookout for something happening when you go to interview them. And their quick thinking on the field is reflected with quick thinking off the field as well. And they might have the opportunity to think quickly here. Walsh did to stay onside. Free waiting for the cross. And Rush. When he first came into the Liverpool side, his heading was his weakest point. He's improved it. You wouldn't really guess it then.
I think he'd be a little bit disappointed, Ian Rush, that he never done better. A good ball from McDonald, a nice little cross in. And he had all the time in the world there to pick his spot, really.
Mabbutt has been at the heart of Tottenham's resistance again. Tremendous character, Gary Mabbutt. A great example to all youngsters watching. As many people know, he's overcome what could have been a handicap to his football career. He is a diabetic. Nicol. Well, I don't think Kenny Dalglish is as pleased with the second half performance. He might be encouraged to play again, Pat.
I think the things about Kenny will understand players sometimes. When you're 2-0 up, you're liable to take it a little bit easy when you think the game's won, and sometimes it can rebound on you.
And it's been a little bit fortunate for Liverpool that Tottenham haven't quite had the power and the penetration to take advantage.
They've brought the two subs on, Martin, and really it's not done anything to improve their performance, has it?
Waddle. It's so often broken down in that area, but in fact Tottenham are going to get a corner.
I think one or two of the Tottenham players at this moment in time want a good kick up the backside.
I don't want you to sit on the fence, Pat.
Thanks, Martin.
Roberts. Stevens. Offside again. Gary Stevens has recently gone into business. He's quite unusually running a fan club for Brian Robson, would you believe? He's gone into the marketing business, and his firm has had a bid accepted by Brian Robson and his agent to take over what is an important side of a top player's life, making sure that their fans are looked after correctly and responsibly. Sammy Lee. There's been a lot of big matches here at Anfield recently. And Liverpool's loyal supporters, I'm sure, would love to see a third goal just to complete their evening tonight. Johnston. Nickel.
I was just saying earlier on, Martin, about Alan Hansen, that build-up again there. He's under a little bit of pressure, but for him it's nothing really. Most central defenders would pass it back to the goalkeeper, but he's not looking to pass it back to the goalkeeper. He's wanting to build something up.
I suppose he's been unlucky with Scotland, Pat, in the club pairing of
I don't think
Miller and McLeish.
He's such a superior player to both of them, it's untrue.
Alex Ferguson, please take note. Thomas. Ooh, Johnston rather dipped out of that tackle, and he was probably a relieved man when that just passed wide from Danny Thomas. Waddle. Trying a central route this time for Hoddle. Good tackle, John Walk. And a solid pass from Mabbutt for Hughton on a ball that bounced awkwardly at the centre half. Sammy Lee must be quite difficult to play against with his low centre of gravity. He's done enough tonight to indicate to Kenny Dalglish that he can be called upon whenever the manager requires. His heart very much still with the club. A Scouser through and through is Sammy. Johnston, and I think we have to credit Tottenham then. They knew what Johnston was going to do and moved up quickly. I do feel, Pat, that we talk about Super Leagues and other reconstructions, but if we could sort out this offside game, maybe the product would improve and we wouldn't need to do too much else.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the offside game, Martin. It's players that don't read the situation well. I think that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with the offside. It's been going on for 90 or 100 years now.
Well, there have been changes in the law in the past, but we'll come back to that in a moment, because it's Hoddle for Tottenham, and Tottenham have a corner. Seven minutes left. Liverpool with a firm grip on this match, taken in the first 34 minutes with the 2 goals. Hoddle. Tottenham's throw. Roberts. Who can drive at times, it seems, through a brick wall, but not through a red wall of Liverpool defenders. McDonald, and it falls for Rush. And Walsh won't get it. Been one of those halves, really, with Liverpool knowing that unless they did anything silly at the back, the game was won, where just not quite enough care has been taken over the passing. McDonald. Thomas, but you can see how difficult it is for Tottenham to make any progress. That really has summed up their evening. Mabbutt. Waddle beckoning Thomas forward with the pass. He needs help, and he'll get it from Stevens. Hoddle joining Clive Allen and Falco in the middle. Waddle, Stevens, and it's Lawrence who steps in. And Mabbutt has to replace a divot. That looked like handball by Nicol, who leant into it on the blind side of the referee. With no European trophy for Liverpool to try and claim this season, they've certainly given every indication here that they've got their eyes firmly set on the Screen Sports Super Cup. Really has been a mere spectator in the second half.
They haven't built up anything, Tottenham, this half, Martin, have they? They haven't played with any conviction at all.
What they, I'm sure, will appreciate is that they could really have gone from bad to worse in the second half. That hasn't happened. And when you're 2 down at Anfield at the interval, you do fear the worst.
Well, I think, to be fair, that's because Liverpool haven't pushed as hard this half as they did the first half.
Hughton. Wanting to set Liverpool going forward again. There are 3 minutes left, and Lawrence has other ideas. Walk, now rush, and another one goes a-begging. I think forward players will tell you that there are games where they begin to believe themselves that chances won't go in, and this is turning out, it seems, to be one of those for Ian Rush.
I think it's the type of player, Ian Rush. If Liverpool won 5-0 and he didn't score, he wouldn't be happy with himself.
And Dalglish with an expression that really doesn't give us a clue to the thoughts of the Liverpool manager. Chris Waddle and his teammates have learnt again, but I'm sure they really knew before they came here that Liverpool on their own ground are an awesome proposition. They've really won this at a canter. Beglin. Hansen. I think it's fair to say that the influence of Molby has been missed, Pat, in the quality of the ball forward. But Walsh for Lawrenson. Have Liverpool got a sting in the tail from Walk?
Possibly it has. They've missed Molby a great deal this half, I think. But that was a very good build-up, that, by Liverpool. I mean, the great thing about Liverpool, and it's the European experience, they never rush things. It's always the cool, calculated build-up. I mean, you can't side-foot them from there, John Watt, can you, really? You've got to have a right go at it.
Clive Allen, who will regard this as another match under the belt, another step towards full sharpness. Hoddle. Important season this is for Glenn Hoddle, with a World Cup waiting at the end of it. But he and Tottenham have had to give second best for so much of this evening to Liverpool in midfield. Ardiles. Thomas. Hoddle. They keep the ball, but it's all square, all in front of the Liverpool defenders. And Hughton unable to get the better of Steve Nicol. But when the whistle goes, it's not for a corner, it's the final whistle. Liverpool continue to be irresistible at Anfield, and they're now through to the semi-finals of the Screen Sports Super Cup. Kevin MacDonald with the first goal after 19 minutes. And Paul Walsh added the second 11 minutes from half-time. Liverpool still with one match to play, the return at Tottenham. They stay top of the group, and Spurs have 2 games left, and Southampton, as we look at the table, needing a big win in their last match at home to Spurs to stand any chance of survival. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our coverage for you tonight from Anfield. A splendid first half. Perhaps Liverpool rested on their laurels a little in the second period, but I'm sure we can forgive them for that. And Tottenham really came very much second best. From Pat Curran and myself, Martin Tyler, it's goodbye to you from Anfield with a final score: Liverpool 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0.